Welcome to a brand new video on PowerDrift, and this one is a bit unique because we aren't really showing you what this is underneath all this psychedelic camo wrap. It of course is the brand new Skoda Slavia, and this is a prototype that we've just spent about 3 hours driving 200 kilometers with. But we're not going to talk about that just yet. What I'm going to talk about today is outliers. Now you guys come to us, to PowerDrift, because we do things a little differently. We have a little bit more fun with our automotive journalism because that's how we think we should do this. And in this big bad world of SUVs, this is a new outlier. This is a sedan, and a sedan I'm rather excited by. One big reason, the top spec version of this, the 1.5 litre automatic, which I've of course driven, and the manual, comes with 150 horsepower. In a small little sedan. Okay, now obviously you guys can't see how the car looks under the wrap because that's what it is supposed to do. And this was actually selected amongst a bunch of 200 entries that people sent, Skoda India, and that's the final one that was selected. Now this is really cool in my opinion because again, Skoda's new sort of communications color has been orange. We've seen it with the Kushaq, and the orange on the Slavia, the orange tone on the Slavia's camo wrap looks rather fitting, doesn't it? Especially with these black wheels, it's like a nice little contrast. Looks very sporty and cool. Now, all of this, it's all soft inside. There's a whole bunch of padding so that even us with our nosy little fingers can't really make out the lines and the creases and curves underneath it. But again, as I mentioned, I have seen it. Can't talk about it just yet, but I'm really dying to, but I can't, okay? I just can't, right? Just live with that. First things first, let's talk about the size of this car. Now, everybody might think that this is a similar size to the Rapid or the Vento. It isn't. It's actually much larger, to the point that it's actually larger than the first generation Octavia we got here back in what, the early 2000s, 20 years ago. It's a larger car than that. So, in terms of general size, it's got a decent footprint. It's actually the same wheelbase as the Kushaq, but overall, it is a little bit longer too. And on the whole, on the road, I think it, well, I'm trying to figure out what I can and cannot say. I think it's going to look, well, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, 16-inch wheels will come in standard on the top of the line version. 205 section tires, so nice big chunky pieces of meat. No 17-inch options, I think, but we don't know what the final version might look like. Overall, I think even in the camo version, I think it looks rather nice, doesn't it? It looks rather cool, it looks rather modern, and in this big world of SUVs, as I mentioned, it's just a welcome change. Okay, so now that we've told you how the car is in terms of an overall footprint, let me tell you how it drives a little bit more. I think this is going to be a bit of a monologue, so please do bear with me. But before I get there, I can tell you a little bit of a detail or here or there too on the inside. Now, I can't tell you how the insides are just yet, but what I can tell you is that 6 airbags will be standard on that top spec version, unlike the Kushaq, which did not have that at launch, and they did get a little bit of blowback for that, which they have now of course rectified. This will get that at launch, so it's a safe car, you get that checked off. Sunroof will be on this car as well. It at first glance feels larger than the Kushaq's. It isn't. It's just because the roof is maybe a little bit smaller on this as compared to the Kushaq, so maybe that's the case. Now, the other thing I can tell you is that this does have a digital instrument cluster, something that the Kushaq is missing. I can't tell you how it is or how the graphics are or how the layout is just yet, but it does have that feature, and that's something a lot of people do want in their new modern high-tech connected cars. Now, since this is on the MQB A0iN platform, which we all know is a kick-ass platform underpinning the likes of the Kushaq and the Taygun and now the Slavia, it gets the 2 TSI EVO engine options. The 1-litre 3-cylinder makes 115 horsepower, and the 1.5 4-cylinder gets 150 horsepower and the cool tech like cylinder deactivation to improve your fuel economy. You also get a 6-speed manual and a 6-speed automatic torque converter on the 1-litre, while the 1.5 gets a 6-speed manual, which is different from the 1 litre incidentally, and you get a 7-speed DSG, which is the DQ200. Now, I specifically asked if the DQ200 had been made more robust and better than what the earlier DQ200s were, and there is a whole host of very technical information that they gave me, which of course flew right over my head. But in a nutshell, yes, the new DQ200 in the likes of the Kushaq or the Taygun or the Slavia is a lot more, well, durable for Indian driving conditions. Anyways, both of those drive decently well. The 1 litre obviously is more suited to the relaxed driver, the guy who's looking, or the girl who's looking for the more sensible family car to sort of potter around town with, occasional highway runs. It won't really let you down. Yes, it is a little bit low on power. On outright performance, it does lag, but going around in the city, it's adequate. The manual feels nicer than the automatic, obviously, but the automatic does get paddle shifter, so it's a bit of a trade-off there. The 1.5 on the other hand, that's obviously the enthusiast-driven engine. Now on the Kushaq, the sales difference between the 1.5 and the 1 litre is 20 to 80%. So only 20% of the people are actually buying the more powerful engine. I think, I might be wrong, but I think nonetheless that this might have a slightly larger 1.5 audience, because there is definitely a market of people who want a nice performing sedan. The 1.5, as I mentioned, on the DSG, typically DSG 1.5 drives well, sensible, but the manual is the one that really excites me. 150 horsepower manual sedan. I mean, when's the last time we had that in India? It's been a long time. So that's something that I'm looking forward to absolutely belting around when we get a chance to really drive this car sometime next year. Now, ride and handling. This is something that's really important, because that's something that we've really gotten a sort of good look at or a good feel of driving the car earlier today. Now, all 4 cars that we drove, the 1 litre manual automatic, 1.5 manual automatic, were tuned slightly differently, so they drove slightly differently. But on the whole, the basic platform or the basic structure will sort of remain the same on the production cars. What I can tell you is that this thing rides really well, to the point where I think it rides maybe slightly better than the Kushaq, which already is a great driving car in terms of ride comfort and the way it soaks up bad roads and bumps. This does it even better. Big potholes, big bumps, and we really did take it through, right through some really big potholes and bumps. It absorbed all of that really well. One other thing that's sort of crucial on the Slavia is the fact that it has some incredible ground clearance. So if you take it over those gigantic speed breakers that we seem to be seeing sprouting all over the place like ants in somebody's pants, well, this will handle that really well as well. Hey guys, come on. You can't see it just yet, okay? It's not allowed. Trust me, it's worth the wait. There's going to be a brand new video on the PowerDrift channel soon, because we're going to give you the car in all its glory, in the metal, interior, exterior, all of that. Because the world premiere of the car, as I mentioned a little earlier, happens on the 18th of November. So expect a video to drop right around that time of the Slavia in all its glory. But if you are looking to buy one, you might have to wait just a little bit longer. In fact, a lot longer, because the Indian launch of this will be sometime in late February or early March. Now, in terms of pricing, the Slavia is going to be a little less expensive than the Kushaq, because obviously the Kushaq appears to be a lot more premium because it's an SUV, and an SUV cannot be less premium than a sedan, can it? But nonetheless, this is going to be launched sometime late February, early March, as I mentioned, and it's obviously going to be a competitor to the likes of the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna, both of which are now sort of older cars, although Honda did come in just last year. But even then, this brings in a lot needed excitement to that segment, which seems to be, well, relatively dead in the last few years, isn't it? So that's something that we're looking forward to, a launch sometime next year. Till then, tell us what you think of the car. I know we haven't really seen it yet, but well, this is the camouflage version and the camo drive, or the covered drive as Skoda has called it. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you with the Slavia.